Gentlemen, start your engine.
Hey everybody, y'all might know that today is Saturday, which means I do not do an Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. So today I want to take a little time and talk about something that's outside the purview of my gun channel here usually. And actually this isn't a gun channel. I like to consider this more of a First and Second Amendment advocacy channel because we deal with things more than just guns. But today I want to talk about cars. For the gearheads out there, the ones that appreciate cars as much as they do guns, like myself, I know there's a lot of you. If you've been following me lately, or if you've been following me for years, you know I like to change my car quite often. It's the one thing I do spend money on outside of guns. I'm willing to lose a few $1,000s a year trading in to get a different car. It's my goal to drive as many cars as I can for a year before I die. So making up for when I was younger and I just drove junkers all the time and had to drive them until they fell apart. It's kind of, what I'm doing, making up for that when I was younger. And many of you know I'm driving a Mini Cooper right now. I love it. A lot of people think that because I get rid of my cars every year, that might mean I didn't like them or something. That's not the case. I love my Mini Cooper. I actually think it's probably the best car I've ever owned. German engineering is nothing to laugh at. But I do prefer to own American cars, but this car is pretty freaking amazing. Before that, I owned a Dodge Challenger, a Scat Pack, which really liked that. People think because I got rid of it, I must not have liked it. No, I really, really liked that car. That car was fun to drive. It wasn't a handling car or a driver's car like the Mini is, but it was still a great car. Before that, I had a Jeep. Before that, I had another Jeep. Before that, I had a Mazda and a Mustang and an F-150 and just so on and so on. I've had so many cars I can barely remember which ones I had in the last 20 years. But really like to drive a different car every year. And if you've been following me recently, I really got enamored by the Camaro, the 2021 Camaro. Beautiful car. I just love the way it looks outside. But then I drove one, and one, you can't see much, but that really didn't bother me too much. The new rear view mirror that's a camera really made up for a lot of that. And once you're staring down the road, you're not looking right in front of you anyway. So I found that when I was driving it and looking straight down the road, didn't bother me at all, the visibility. I mean, I know a lot of people slam the visibility, but didn't bother me, especially with that new rear view mirror camera. So, because it's just a monitor and really, really easy to see stuff and gives you a wide angle view and just really nice. But the one thing that did bother me is an interior that is, for one, kind of lackluster, which I'm okay with the fact that it's not super modern. I like that. I like the fact that it kind of harkens back to its muscle car roots. What I didn't like is an interior build quality that you can actually take a popsicle stick and the bezel behind the gauges, you can stick a popsicle stick between the dash and the gauges in some places. It's so poorly put together. So that was one of the things that really bothered me about the Camaro. I'm like, come on, Chevy, this is not a new model. You've had a few years to work the kinks out of the interior on this, so get it right. But still, overall, it's an interior you can live with just because of the quality of the ride. That engine, that sound, the feel, it's just a great car. So you overlook the shitty interior. But I thought, I just can't make a decision based on one car. I have to broaden my horizons a little bit. Now, I have owned a Ford Mustang GT in the past, but it was a 2009, I do believe. It was the 45th anniversary model. I think that was a 2009. Might have been 2010, but I think it was 2009. But then I adopted my kids and had to get rid of it after only 6 months because the car seat wouldn't fit in the back. But I've owned a GT, but still, I was like, well, I haven't owned this model of GT from Mustang because the body style now and then completely different. I really liked the old body style that came out, the new revamped body style. But the newer one, it doesn't look as retro as the older one did that I owned. It looks a little more modern. It's very sleek. It almost looks like a shark to me in some ways. Just a really nice looking car, but not nice looking in the way that I would like a Mustang to look. It's too sports car-y, not muscle car-y enough, if that makes sense to anyone. But like I said, the way it drives, awesome. With the performance pack on it, awesome. Magna Ride on it, awesome. Fords have never been the best handling cars. In fact, I've always said, hey, Ford Mustang, I should say. I've always said, if you want to wrap your car around a tree or a telephone pole, get you a Mustang. They're real easy to do that with. But now that they've gotten away from that solid rear axle and gone to independent suspension, and with the performance pack, like I said, and the Magna Ride, they ride as good as any other sports car nowadays, I think. They're just really nice. Now, there is a lot of power cranking to those back wheels from that engine. I mean, it's a smaller engine, you know, that Coyote engine, that 5.0, but it cranks out more horsepower than the 6.4 or 6.2? I think it's 6.2 in the Camaro. Cranks out a little bit more horsepower than the Camaro does. But I think the Camaro puts out a little more torque, though. That's one of the advantages of the bigger, displacement. But the Mustang is just really nice. And the interior, while not what I would call super updated or even super classic, it's a little cleaner and a little nicer put together than the Camaro. And if you like buttons and knobs and toggles and stuff, you'll definitely like the Mustang interior better. But like I said, both cars had one thing about them that I liked, and that's that they were nice, fast, powerful, loud cars. Because after driving the Mini for a while and it being so perfect, I kind of want an imperfect car. That's, I'm going all over the place here, I know, but that's one thing that drew me to them. And I had kind of come down to deciding between the Mustang and the Camaro. And I don't know if any of you have tried to buy a car lately with the chip shortage. You basically can't. You can't find them anywhere. All car lots now are basically used car lots, even the dealer lots, because they just don't have any new cars hardly. One of my local dealers that usually carries an inventory between 275 and 350 cars has 18 new cars on their lot. And they're all basically the same thing, base models that nobody wants. So finding a car right now is hard. So if I want to get a car at first of next year, which I always buy my car at the beginning of the year, I'm going to have to order one now. So I thought, well, I need to decide between these two cars. But then I stopped at the Dodge dealership. And I know a lot of people, oh, Dodge, you only Dodge. When you got to slam one model to promote your other model, then you really don't have anything to promote about the model you like. For people come in and go, get the Ford because Dodges are garbage. I'm like, well, that's an opinion that doesn't mean anything. Because if you can't just say, get the Ford because the traction control is better, or the displacement to horsepower to weight ratio is better, blah, blah, blah. If you can't do that kind of argument, well, then your argument doesn't mean much. But I like Dodge. I like Mopar. I like GM. I like Ford. I like all of them. So cool it with the shitting on a car just to promote the one you like, because that doesn't mean much. I mean, you can do it, but I'm not going to take that as anything that should inform my opinion. But like I said, I stopped by the Dodge dealer and saw a Charger, a Widebody Charger Scat Pack. And I was like, that's nice. I like the looks of it. Because up till now, I've really liked the looks of the Camaro better on the exterior, but hated the interior. Liked the interior better on the Mustang, but wasn't really sold on the exterior. And with the Dodge, I thought it was kind of like a compromise. The exterior is almost as nice as the Camaro, and the interior is better than the Camaro and almost as nice as the Ford. It's just not as many buttons and knobs and stuff, but I don't need a lot of buttons and knobs. All I care about usually is the steering wheel and what's in front of me, the gauge cluster. So I'm like, wow, this is nice. And I had a Challenger, but it wasn't a Scat Pack. I mean, it was a Scat Pack, but it wasn't a wide body. And it wasn't a 4-door Charger. One of the things I didn't like about the Challenger was that it was 2 doors. And unlike the Mustang and the Camaro, it's quite a bit bigger. So the doors just felt kind of unwieldy. And like when you'd park, you'd have to be like, I don't want to hit the car next to me because this giant door. Whether it was really that much bigger or not is one thing. It's up for debate, but it just felt so much bigger and so much heavier. It's like when I had my old Oldsmobile Delta 88 and my 98 with a big 2-door car. And it actually started to crack the metal around the mirror because the door was so heavy when I had to have that fixed twice. But that was the only thing I didn't like about the Challenger was that it was 2 doors and people had to crawl over to get in the back seat. So the Charger's 4 doors and has totally different styling, very similar interior, but totally different exterior styling. So I put the Challenger in the mix of, or not Challenger, the Charger in the mix of which one I liked. So I did a couple of polls over on Patreon, and I asked my supporters, which one would you get? Camaro, Mustang, or Charger? And I was very surprised. Now, at first, like the first 15 minutes of the poll, the Camaro was running away with it. But then, after like the first half hour or so, Challenger kind of took a lead, or Charger, excuse me, I keep saying Challenger because I'm used to saying Challenger. The Charger took the lead and kept it throughout the rest of the poll. And the Mustang gained on the Camaro and surpassed it. So the Camaro actually came in last, followed by, and then the Mustang was second. And in first place by quite a margin was the Charger. I was really surprised that so many people liked a big, muscular 4-door sedan, which I still do have kids in the house. So a 4-door sedan is actually kind of nice. And I pick my sister up and do stuff all the time. So 4-door is kind of nice. But I was surprised, but I always adhere to what you people say. So I said, well, I guess it's going to be the Charger. I'm going to order a Charger. So I'm announcing right now, that's why I'm going to order the Charger. Well, then I did another poll as to what color I should get. And I really wanted to get orange. Orange is my favorite color, which is something I have in common with Prince. A lot of people think it was purple. No. Orange. Orange is my favorite color, so I wanted to get an orange Charger. But then I knew that I would not personally have the self-control to not turn it into a General Lee car. And then I would get myself hate crimed. Even though I had no hate in my heart doing it, I just like the Dukes of Hazzard. But I understand what that flag means to some people. And but even then, I still wouldn't be able to have the self-control to be respectful. And like I said, hate crimed. And I don't want that to happen. I don't think anyone really wants that to happen to them. But I definitely didn't want it to happen to me. I'm fragile. I'm getting old. I don't want that to happen. So orange was out of the picture. So I decided the 2 colors I liked was Smoke Show, which is a very common version of a color nowadays. That kind of putty blue-gray color, light blue-gray. Some cars are more gray, some are a little more blue, but they're all that kind of putty colored. Beautiful color. Looks really good on the car. A lot of contrast between the black and the Smoke Show and the black interior, etc. Was beautiful, but the other option that I was thinking of was the Hellraisin, which one reason I would want it is just because of the name, Hellraisin. I mean, how often do you see that name anywhere? It's a purple color, once again, Prince-ish, and I'm a huge Prince fan. I don't know if anybody knows that about me. You should be able to tell by looking at me, shouldn't you, that I'm a huge Prince fan. In fact, Prince is my favorite all-time artist, period. I believe he is the most talented and creative person that probably ever lived. As far as performers go, he's definitely number one. He does beat Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson was a great performer, but he wasn't an artist. He didn't create a lot of his themes and his music and his backdrops and all that other stuff. He didn't sit down in a studio and play all the instruments, So he was a great performer, but Prince is a performer and an artist. So as far as greatest artist, performer alive or dead, Prince is it for me. So that's a lot more you need to know about why I like the color purple. I even had a Prince motorcycle when I was younger. I wish I had pictures of it, but I don't. They're all hard pictures because we didn't have cell phones back then. That I completely replicated his motorcycle from Purple Rain. I drove that thing with pride until I totaled it. But like I said, purple, Hellraisin was the next color. And I thought for sure Smoke Show would win. But in that poll, Hellraisin got almost twice as many votes as Smoke Show. And once again, I always do what my viewers say if I put a poll out. Why, who would I be to not listen to their advice, especially when they get it right? So it looks like I'm going to be ordering a Dodge Charger in Hellraisin. I haven't decided yet on all the options. Now, I know I do want the Harman Kardon package because I had that in my Challenger and that big subwoofer in the trunk. I mean, that car will hop down the road on just the volume of the music alone. So I definitely want that because that was one of the things I loved most about my Challenger. That and the 6.4 liter engine, V8 engine. So I know I'm going to get that option. The things I need to decide on now is like, should I get the carbon fiber package? Because the interior is kind of plain, and I think the carbon fiber package does kind of bring it up a little bit, and plus it puts suede or Alcantara, whatever that fabric is they use now that's so popular. Headliner in. So it makes it like a lot nicer inside, supposedly. I don't know. And I'm getting a leather interior, of course. But I don't know what options I should put on it. If anybody's got any advice, like should I get the should I get the carbon fiber package? I'll probably get the technology groups because I do want the adaptive cruise control and the, where it stops you if you get into trouble and the lane assist and stuff. But it looks like that's what I'm going to order is the Dodge Charger in Hellraisin and options to be determined later. Like I say, I try to stay in that $50,000 to $55,000 range. That way I'm not really losing much when I trade. I always pay extra on my payments. I don't do that 72 months financing. I finance for 5 years. I pay extra payments every month, and I always put down whatever I have in equity on my other car towards the new car. That way I'm never upside down when I go to trade in. I am usually out whatever I paid in down payment, which is usually in the $5,000 range. And I know that's stupid to throw away $5,000 every year, but that is the one big expense I have other than buying guns because I just love to drive, and I like to drive new cars. So I just want to let everyone know who's been following the saga, that's what I'm looking to buy. I'm going to be putting an order in here pretty soon. If you got any suggestions on options, please let me know, especially that carbon fiber package. If you've seen cars with it and without it, which one do you think looks nicer? Let me know. But for those of you that have been following the drama of what car should I get, and I know it's not been a lot of you, but in my chats, there's quite a few of us that are into it. And when I do the car-only chats, a lot of people come to them. So there's the information. That's the update. That's where we're standing right now. I'm going to head to the Dodge dealer actually today and see about, I know I'm going tomorrow. By the time you see this, it'll be today. No, it won't, because I'm posting this the same day I filmed it. So don't listen to anything I'm saying. Well, listen to some stuff I'm saying, but don't listen to that part. But like I said, there's the update. I should have more info tomorrow, let you know if I actually got it ordered or not and when it should be in, hopefully by the first of the year, because they're saying 4 to 6 months on orders right now. But that's what we're going with. And I say we like you're going to pay the payments. You're not. So it's me. That's what I'm going with. So that's what I'm going with. The Dodge Charger in Hellraisin purple.